Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner.
In our top story, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated Israel's policy of taking whatever action is necessary to keep advanced weapons from reaching Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon. In recent days, Israeli warplanes have launched repeated airstrikes against convoys in Syria to stop the transfer of arms. Jerusalem has steadfastly maintained this objective even after the Syrian army fired anti-aircraft missiles at IDF jets this past week. At least one of the rockets was intercepted and destroyed by Israel's aerial ballistic defense shield. Military analysts believe it's doubtful that the Damascus regime of President Bashar al-Assad intends to drag Israel into a wider confrontation, although the Syrian attack marks a distinct departure from the traditional rules of engagement observed by both countries. The Hezbollah terror group is heavily supported by Iran, with both Shiite Islamic entities fighting opposition rebels alongside the Syrian army.
U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley is praising Secretary General Antonio Guterres for his swift response to a virulently anti-Israeli report released by one of the world body's agencies. The Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia accused Israel of practicing an apartheid regime against Palestinians, which is a charge that's never before been made by any UN body. A spokesman for the Secretariat said that the report was published without prior consultation. Guterres demanded that the publication be withdrawn and accepted the resignation of the Jordanian head of the regional commission, which represents 18 Arab countries. Israel's foreign ministry called the publication a despicable and blatant lie that was reminiscent of anti-Semitic Nazi propaganda. Israel's strongest ally, the United States, also reacted with outrage.
In related news, the Trump administration has repeated its threat to withdraw from the UN Human Rights Council, citing, among other things, the intergovernmental agency's discriminatory agenda against Israel. The latest warning comes from Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who underscored America's strong principled objection to the Council's disproportionate record of condemnation of the Jewish state. Since the founding of the UNHRC in 2006, over half of its resolutions have targeted Israel while ignoring horrific human rights violations perpetrated around the world.
The House of Representatives Foreign Affairs Subcommittee in the Middle East has just been provided with an in-depth report detailing the blatant glorification of terror by the Fatah party of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. The document was assembled by the Palestinian Media Watch monitoring organization. Countless examples of the ruling faction's promotion of violence on social media were cited, such as posts that vowed to saturate the earth in blood as part of the Arabs' eternal battle against Israel.
A court in Amman has denied an extradition order issued by the U.S. Justice Department to turn over a convicted Palestinian terrorist to stand trial for the murder of Americans. The request concerned Ahlam Tamimi, who is on the FBI's list of most wanted terrorists. The Jordanian national pled guilty to helping carry out a 2001 attack at a Jerusalem restaurant on behalf of Hamas. She admitted to scouting and driving the Arab suicide bomber to the location, as well as instructing him on how to detonate the explosive. The attack claimed the lives of 15 people, including 7 children, a pregnant woman, and 2 U.S. citizens. More than 120 other people were injured in the blast. Israel's defense establishment announced that the last component of the nation's multi-tier air defense missile system will be completed within the next 2 weeks. That's when the David's Sling tactical ballistic rocket interceptor is scheduled to become fully operational. It was developed jointly by Israel and the United States and takes its name from the biblical story of David and Goliath. It is designed to destroy incoming rockets fired from a range of 60 to 125 miles. David's Sling joins the short-range Iron Dome and the long-range Arrow 2 and 3 anti-missile systems in forming an unprecedented security shield around the Jewish state.
And in related news, Israelis just celebrated National Science Day in commemoration of the 138th anniversary of the birth of the prominent Jewish physicist Albert Einstein. As part of nationwide events, the public voted for their most appreciated Israeli innovations. The Iron Dome missile defense system came in first, scoring a 61% favorability rating. The Waze navigation system came in second, followed by the Disk-On Key flash drive, drip irrigation, and Intel chips, all of which were invented by the Jewish state.
High-tech insiders are reporting that up to 1,000 engineers are now working diligently at Apple's Israeli headquarters to design augmented reality technology for the iPhone 8. The facility is the industry giant's second largest research and development office in the world. The application is called AR for short, and it enables users to interact with their environments like the Pokemon Go game. In addition, the multinational tech operation has already purchased 3 leading Israeli companies that can work on this and other solutions. Just last month, Apple paid $2 million for the RealFace cybersecurity startup that specializes in facial recognition programming. It also bought the Lynx photo tech firm and the Prime Sense company that develops 3D gesture technology. There's increasing excitement to see how the latest cutting-edge Israeli tech is showcased in the next Apple product to hit the international market. Maritime archaeologists and enthusiasts just witnessed what appeared to be a 2,500-year-old Hellenic boat sailing the Mediterranean Sea. It was really an authentic replica of a vessel discovered off Israel's coast 3 decades ago. This is the first time that a ship of this kind has been rebuilt. The University of Haifa and the Israel Antiquities Authorities joined forces in the $550,000 research project. They faithfully recreated the watercraft by limiting their methods, materials, and tools to only those used in the classical Greek period 4 to 5 centuries before the Common Era. The ancient wreck was preserved almost intact under a layer of silt. As a result, archaeologists were treated to the rare opportunity of inspecting its keel, timbers, and crossbeams, as well as the base of the mast, and even the toolbox used by the ancient craftsmen.
Israel, the light unto the nations, today faces attack from more than just rockets and terrorism. Calls to boycott, sanction, and divest from Israel, known as BDS, are a form of economic warfare that you can help to prevent. The Israel Allies Foundation has launched a public service campaign called Defeat BDS, offering educational tools and other resources that you can use to stand with Israel and help make a difference. Just visit the easy-to-use website at www.defeatbds.org.
That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein, and we're here on a beautiful cold day in Jerusalem in our indoor studio. My guest today is Oded Ravivi. He's the Chief Foreign Envoy of the Yesha Council. Oded, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
But tell our viewers a little about what is the Yesha Council?
Well, the Yesha Council in Hebrew is the abbreviation of Judea and Samaria and what used to be Gaza. It's the umbrella organization which underneath it organizes all 500,000 Jews who live in Judea and Samaria, which are split into 24 different regional councils, local councils, cities and towns.
Well, recently in the international community with the last presidential administration of Obama, they tried to make it sound like Yesha and Judea and Samaria were obstacles to peace, that they were actually the reason there was a conflict. Yet now with Trump, there's a new message out there that Yesha isn't an obstacle to peace at all. What is your take on this?
First of all, we receive with great appreciation the new change and the new wording. And even if it's just wording, I think it's more than just wording, and it's a significant change. We don't believe that Judea and Samaria or the people living in Judea and Samaria or the settlements are the obstacle for peace. I invite every single one of you viewers to come and see how the settlements are the solution for the peace. When you come to a city of Efrat, where I'm the mayor of, a city of 10,000 people, and you see 1,000 Palestinians coming in every single day to work and earn a living and go back home at the end of the day with substantial money to buy food for their beloved ones, you understand that we can be the solution, we can be the biggest promoters for peace.
Recently in the Knesset, Israel's parliament, they spoke about a lot more than usually annexation, taking the Jewish communities of Judea and Samaria and put them under Israeli law. Is this an important and positive step?
You have to realize that this temporary situation has been in the air for the last 50 years. 50 years in no history background is something temporary. And after 50 years, you've got 500,000 Jewish people, you've got over 2 million Palestinian people who want to know what are the rules and regulations, how does that area being governed, who makes the decisions and in what method. And that's why we see these attempts in the Knesset, in the parliament, the Israeli parliament, that try and draw some sort of order as to how you can start creating a policy in this reality.
The EU specifically and the UN is always condemning what they call illegal building in the Judea-Samaria region. They say if you build, a house illegally, it's a big crime. Yet most of the illegal building is actually being perpetrated by the Palestinian community. Why is there no outcry against that?
Well, within your question, you mentioned a few times illegal, and sometimes people use those terms without even understanding that maybe it is legal. You see, the situation in Judea and Samaria is so unique that you can't compare it to anywhere else in the world, because the countries that governed that land prior to the Six-Day Miraculous War, where Israel took control, conquered, released, occupied, you use whichever politically term you want to use for the outcome of that battle, they signed away a waiver that they have no claims over that land. So you have a situation where the current country, Israel, is controlling land which the previous owner, the previous controller, has waived away all the rights. In that area of Judea and Samaria, there are different titles of land. There's private land, there's state land. And when Israel builds on state land, it's after it examined very, very carefully that nobody else owns that land or not even possesses that land. On the other side, the Palestinians are building with absolutely no plans, with no intake of infrastructure, how the sewage is going to run from those houses. And that's the big challenge. That's one of the needs for this new order to come in, this new legislation, to sort out the things, to make sure that things are not chaotic, but actually with a very given and very clear policy.
Well, we just saw in the UNESCO vote a few months back that the United Nations voted that the Jewish people has no connection to the land of Israel, to the Bible. The Bible has no connection to the land of Israel. How ridiculous is this, and why is this being done without very much obstacles? No one's really speaking out against it, really.
I fail to understand why nobody is speaking out. I'm confident that the majority of the viewers of this program are believers in the Bible, in the Holy Book. They know what we're seeing here out of the window, and they know the history. And you can't change history. You can't make Muhammad being born before when he was born. You can't change the fact that the temple was built before he came around. And that's the cause of history. And people want to try and rewrite history. We need to stand in their way. We need to convey a message. Don't confuse us with the facts. The facts are straightforward. We know what the facts are. You can't recreate the facts. And I believe that your president has made a new title of what is facts and what is fake, so I won't repeat it. But the facts are straight there. The facts are clear. We know who was here first. We know who this land was promised by God. And as believers, we're not going to change our belief, even if the United Nations has a resolution against it.
There are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
Don't change your belief. As believers, come over here, see the reality, see how this is the land of peace. The conflict zone, the battle zone are very far away from here. Here is the true thing. Come, appreciate, enjoy, and spread the word around.
Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
Up next, the return to Zion with Karen Hayesod.
Shalom and welcome to the Return to Zion with Karen Hayesod. I'm Eliezer Moody Sandberg, World Chairman of Karen Hayesod United Israel Appeal, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Today, you will witness the fulfillment of biblical prophecy through the gathering of the exiles. God bless you from Jerusalem.
אני כל כך קשורה לישראל, שלא משנה איזה תחרות אני נוסעת קטנה, גדולה, כל פעם שאני רואה דגל ישראל זה עושה לי צמרמורת בגוף. אולימפיאדה זה חלום של כל ספורטאי, אני חושבת. איך שנכנסנו לאולימפיאדה, לכפר אולימפי, ראינו הספורטאים הכי טובים שיש, באמת, כאילו, מכל העולם, וואו, גם אנחנו ביניהם. אין לי מדינה אחרת. זה הבית שלי.
העלייה לישראל היא עוזרת להגשים לי את החלומות שלי, היא עוזרת לממש את השאיפות שלי ואת הפוטנציאל שלי כאומן. למרות שהמשפחה שלי היא משפחה יהודית, עד גיל 14 בערך לא היה לי שמץ של מושג מה זה להיות יהודי, חוץ מזה שזה לא הנושא שכדאי לדבר עליו בקרב החברים ובבית ספר ובמקומות ציבוריים בכלל. לא פחדתי לעלות כי ידעתי שאני לא אהיה לבד. לא פחדתי לעלות כי ידעתי שלמרות שאני עוזב את הבית והמשפחה שלי לא תהיה איתי, אבל יהיה מאחוריי גב.
If you've taken all the messages and all the education that we received, which come as no surprise of my desire to establish and live a life in Israel, I still see myself as an Oleh Hadash or new immigrant. My current role at Bank Leumi, which allows me to act as an ambassador both for the bank and for the State of Israel, makes me feel like I've come full circle. We have a people who, for the past 60 years, despite challenges, despite hardships, despite a war every decade, continue to succeed on an international scale. This is a land of modern-day heroes.
הגעתי מטרנסילבניה, ברומניה, הייתי בן 14. כאן ראיתי פעם ראשונה חיבור בראייתי מדהים בין השורשים שלנו, תורת ישראל, עם ישראל וארץ ישראל. כל אחד מכם כאן יכול להגיע, כי נותנים לו את ההזדמנות, הרבה בזכות קרן היסוד והתרומות שאנשים טובים נותנים, להתחנך, לגדול ולהיות יום אחד מן הימים רופא, פרופסור באוניברסיטה, רב, מדען או אלוף בצה"ל. בלעדיכם התורמים היה קשה למדינת ישראל להתמודד עם האתגר הזה ולהבטיח שאנחנו לאורך זמן נממש את החלום שלנו להקים מדינה בטוחה ובית לעם היהודי.
The Aliyah is the new blood that have to be constantly injected to make us better people. And in order to make us better people, we need Aliyah.
The majority of Israelis, in one way or the other, are either Olim themselves or descendants of Olim. And this is the power of the state. It's a major force.
Come join Keren HaYesod in fulfilling biblical prophecy. Let's bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
Nearly 40 years ago, I made the best decision of my life. I left a rather comfortable middle-class existence in the United States and I filled up the backpack with the entirety of my belongings, and I moved to the state of Israel. State of Israel that was far less developed and technological than it is today. To make a phone call to the United States back then took about a month and cost about $100 per minute. A little tougher, but the best decision I ever made in my life. By linking my fate and fortunes to the state of Israel, I was reenacting the most original Jewish commitment. It begins in the Bible when God says to Abraham, take yourself, lech lecha, to a land that I will show you. The Jewish story begins with Abraham making Aliyah, going up to the state of Israel, as we say. Aliyah means, of course, going up, and we ascend to the land of Israel. Coming to this country, enabled to fulfill my identity as a Jew, to become a part of the Jewish people in the way that I could not do it outside of this country, for it is only in this country that Jews can assume responsibility for themselves as Jews in every aspect of their life. Here alone, Jews are responsibility for the electricity, for the sewage, of course, for our defense and foreign policy. We are responsible here. Making Aliyah is the essence of Zionism. And Zionism can be defined by one word: responsibility. Making Aliyah, moving here, is assuming responsibility for ourselves as Jews, for our defense, for our prosperity, for our families, and for our future. Make Aliyah is making the most important, and I believe, most valued decision of your life.
Lift up your eyes and look around. All your children gather and come to you. The biblical prophecy is unfolding right before our very eyes. The people of Israel are returning to the Promised Land after 2,000 years of exile. But millions of Jews are still longing to come home. Anti-Semitism threatens many of the Jews. We must rescue them before the window of opportunity slams shut. Bless Israel by supporting Keren HaYesod United Israel Appeal, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Together, we can fulfill the prophecy of the Bible.
Let us bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
Just recently here in Israel, we were celebrating the Passover holiday. On the evening before the first holiday, on Erev Pesach, the whole nation comes to a standstill and they celebrate in their families the deliverance from Egypt more than 3,500 years ago. But what if you don't have the financial means to celebrate? And it's exactly here where the Christian Embassy comes in. Over the last year, we helped countless families all across Israel to celebrate Passover in a proper way, thanks to the help of many donors like you.
My name is Ronit. My mother died before 3 years. She has a cancer. And my father died because he was old and he has a lot of problem in his kidneys, in his heart. And my sister had before 32 years cancer, and it came back before a month and a half. And before 1 month she died. And my problem is that I had a meningioma. So 1 year I'm home and I'm not working, and it's very hard for me, all the situation. But I decided to take the good things of all this problem, because if all the time I will take the hard things, it's not a good life. What you're doing for me, it's really a nice present and a really nice feeling. I'm really exciting now, and I really appreciated all what you gave me and to the other people that they need help.
One day it was a call into the door, and Pnina from Christian Embassy appeared in our life with a lot of food and what is much more important, with their love and with their willing to support. We were very lucky because not we ourselves find the friends found us. We are becoming like members of the big family. Because Aliyah got sick, very seriously sick, we were prohibited to move to another climate zone. And we stayed in Russia for 20 years struggling with this disease. But last year, we finally managed to come. Today, we are very happy because we've got beautiful presents. In fact, we didn't expect so, but thank you all, because these things are important for life. The food, matzah, and money, but what is more important? That we feel to be the members of the community, that we are not alone, that we are supported, we feel love. Some people are praying for us, and Aliyah feels he's becoming stronger. And me, I was in a deep depression some moments of my life, and now it's not so. It is better. Thank you for your love. Thank you.
Я очень благодарен людям, которые приходят, помогают и поддерживают нас. Очень приятно чувствовать теплоту их сердец. Огромное спасибо всем, кто поддерживает нас. Спасибо.
I really want to thank you for your contribution, for assisting us to help people like Aliyah and Lena here in the land of Israel. I really want to encourage you to stand with us also during the year. According to the Israeli government, more than 20% of its population is living below the poverty line. And your help empowers us to help also those people. So thank you so much for standing with us, and may the Lord bless you richly out of Jerusalem.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner, reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.